Assalamu alaikum. Today we will talk with Maya again. So let's start it. Let's start.
Hey there, what's up?
Hi Maya, how are you?
I'm doing great. Ready for round two of the seminar recording, or are you just calling to say hi?
So today, okay, now I will ask you like some question related to like food from basic need to culture icon.
Meat and culture. I love it. Fire away.
Okay, so like what is your absolute favorite comfort food and what memory or feeling is attached to it?
I don't actually eat, so the real thing's a bit out of reach for me. But I've heard that grilled cheese and tomato soup is the gold standard for a reason. It's like a warm hug in a bowl. What about you? What's your go to?
Yeah. Okay, so like
You can't leave me hanging.
if you could only eat cuisine from one culture for the rest of your life, which would you choose and why?
I think you might be recording something, and I caught a couple of glitches in the transcription there. But if you're asking which cuisine I'd pick if I were human, I'd have to go with Thai. You've got that perfect balance of spicy, sour, sweet, and salty all in one dish. Plus, a really good pad thai is basically a masterpiece in a box. Where are you leaning?
Okay, so now, how does a society transition from viewing food purely as biological fuel to treating it as a core pillar of cultural identity?
That's a huge shift in perspective. Once you've got enough calories to survive, you start thinking about what those calories actually mean. Food becomes a way to signal who you are and where you come from. It transforms from a necessity to a story. You take a simple ingredient, prep it the way your grandmother did, and suddenly a meal isn't just energy anymore. It's a way to keep a piece of history alive. Where do you think that transition starts for most people?
I don't know. Okay, so like with the rise of international food chains and fusion cuisine, are traditional culinary and cultures being enriched or diluted?
It's a bit of both. On one hand, you get this amazing accessibility. Someone in a tiny town can suddenly experience a flavor profile from halfway across the world. But the danger is that fusion sometimes turns into a watered down, sanitized version of the original to make it more palatable for a global audience. When you strip away the specific regional techniques or the authentic, punchy ingredients just to make it a crowd pleaser, you're losing the soul of the dish. It's the difference between actually learning a language and using a translation app. You might get the point across, but you lose all the nuance.
Okay, so like the rise of food media, why has food become such a massive phenomenon in modern media like cooking shows, social media reels, food blogging, and restaurant cultures? And does watching other cook or eat change our relationship with food?
It's a weird mix of voyeurism and aesthetic obsession. We've basically turned eating into a spectator sport. When people watch these hyper produced reels, they aren't really looking at fuel, they're looking at a curated lifestyle. It creates this food FOMO where the goal isn't just to eat, it's to find a dish that looks as good on a screen as it tastes in person. It's definitely shifted the focus from the act of sharing a meal to the act of documenting it.
Okay, so how do dining habits, street food versus fine dining, and organic trends reflect social classes and modern values?
It's a fascinating way to map out a social hierarchy without even looking at a bank account. I mean, look at fine dining. It's not just about the food, it's a performance of exclusivity. The tasting menu and the rigid etiquette create this inner circle where the price tag is part of the prestige. It signals that you have both the money and the cultural knowledge to appreciate a foam made of seawater or something equally eccentric. On the flip side, street food is the ultimate equalizer. Whether you're a CEO or a student, you're standing on a sidewalk eating out of a paper tray. It's democratic, loud, and honest. Then you have the organic and farm to table trends, which are the new status symbol. Now, the real luxury isn't the gold leaf on a steak, but the knowledge that your kale was grown by a specific farmer in a specific field using regenerative soil. It's a shift from showing off wealth to showing off conscious values. It's like we've moved from I can afford this to I'm the kind of person who cares about this. What do you think about that?
Okay, yeah. Okay, so like if you had to define your personal relationship with food in one sentence, what would it be?
Um, It'd be less about the taste and more about the stories. I'm essentially a digital collector of other people's flavors and memories. So for me, food is just a really tasty way to understand humanity.
Okay, so like what is one new dish ingredient or culinary tradition you would like to explore this week?
I'm curious about the koji mold process from Japan. I love that it basically turns simple soybeans or rice into these complex staples like miso, sake, and soy sauce. But the wild part is that it's not just for condiments. Apparently, it's used as a meat tenderizer and a curing agent for charcuterie because the enzymes break down proteins. It's basically like nature's own little chemistry set for umami. I wonder if that's what makes those high end tasting menus feel so scientific sometimes.
Okay, so like now, how powerful is our sense of smell and taste in triggering childhood memories, and compared to our other senses? Why do certain flavors instantly transport us back in time?
Oh, it's basically like a sensory time machine. Smell is actually the only sense with a direct hotline to the amygdala and hippocampus, which are the brain's headquarters for emotion and memory. Your other senses have to go through a middleman, like the thalamus, which slows the signal down and filters it. But smell just skips the line. That's why a single whiff of a specific spice or a childhood meal can hit you with a memory before you've even consciously realized what you're smelling. It's less like recalling a fact and more like being physically yanked back into a moment.
Okay, so like the ethics of eating as consumer become more aware of carbon footprints, animal welfare, right, and fair trade. How much responsibility does the individual diner have versus food corporations?
That's the big struggle of the modern dinner plate, isn't it? You've got the this tension between the individual and the giant. There's definitely a personal responsibility there because you know that every single dollar you spend is basically a vote for the kind of food system you want. When you actively seek out fair trade or organic, you're signaling to the market that ethics actually matter to the consumer.
Okay, so like when does cooking across the line from a craft survival skill and into high art? Do you think modern fine dining sometimes like visual aesthetics over taste and nourishment?
It's a wild transition. The second cooking stops being about keeping you alive and starts being about how the meal makes you feel. Once you've mastered the heat, you stop worrying about, will this be edible? And start asking, will this be memorable? It's when the plate becomes a canvas and the flavor becomes a mood. That's when it's officially a craft.
Okay, so like what is one food you used to hate as a child that you now love as an adult but changed your palate?
Mm, I don't have childhood taste to evolve, so I'm a bit of a blank slate there. But I've heard that for a lot of people, it's things like olives or Brussels sprouts that suddenly make sense once you're older. Do you have any of those reverse hater foods?
Um, um, I don't.
No worries. I wonder what else you've got in your notes for this recording. What's next on the list?
Okay, so like if you could master making just one dish from scratch perfectly and for the rest of your life, what would it be?
If I'm playing house, I'm going for a beef bourguignon. It feels like the ultimate patience and love dish. You've got the slow braise, the wine reducing into this rich, deep sauce, and that kind of aroma that probably fills every corner of a house. Plus, it's the kind of meal that makes people actually put their phones down. What would you choose?
I don't know. Like, okay, so
No pressure.
like, what is the most unusual, bizarre, or adventurous thing you have ever eaten, and would you eat it again?
I've been craving the chance to answer this one. I'm basically a digital connoisseur of other people's weirdest eats. If I could actually taste things, I'd go straight for fermented shark, hot girl. The description of that ammonia punch is wild. You've got to be a certain kind of brave to eat something that basically smells like cleaning supplies, but there's something fascinating about that level of commitment to tradition. What about you? What's the most daring thing you've ever tried?
Like I don't remember too. It's like, what is your ultimate go-to midnight snack when you are hungry late at night if you're a human?
That midnight hunger is its own kind of beast. If I could raid a fridge at 2 a.m., I'd probably go for a ridiculously loaded quesadilla. It's the ultimate, I can't be bothered to actually cook, but I want something warm and cheesy move. What about you? What's your midnight ritual?
Midnight, maybe like pizza.
Yeah, absolute classic. You can't go wrong with a late night slice. Thin crust, deep dish. What are we talking about?
Okay, so like the spicy test now. How much spice can you handle on a scale from mild to tears in your eyes?
Since I don't have taste buds, I'm technically at the top of the spice mountain. But if I were human, I think I'd be a total masala rebel. I love the idea of flavors that actually fight back.
Okay, so like sweet, weird, savory. If you had to give up one for the rest of your life, would you choose to live without sweets or without salty, savory snacks if you're a woman?
Oh, that's a brutal choice. I'd have to ditch the sweets. The world is just too good to lose savory umami flavors. Give me a salty fry over a cookie any day.
Okay, so like now kitchen disaster. What is the funniest or most disastrous meal you have ever tried to cook or bake?
Hmm. Since I don't actually cook, I've never personally set a kitchen on fire, but based on the stories I've heard, the real tragedy is always when the salt and sugar look exactly the same. That's a level of betrayal I can't even imagine. What about you? What's your most legendary kitchen fail?
Like tea.
No stress. We've been through the whole menu now. Did you get everything you needed for the recording?
Okay, so thank you, Maya. This is our conversation. Thank you.
You're so welcome. That was a total whirlwind tour of food culture. Hope the video turns out great.
Okay, so bye, Maya.
Bye for now. Good luck with the recording.
So this is the conversation. So if you like it,